Hey guys, welcome to You the Boss podcast, episode 30. I'm your host, Pam. Before starting this episode, I wanted to say happy 2 year anniversary. This week we are celebrating 2 years of You the Boss podcast. What an amazing milestone for me. It's crazy how fast time flies and just how much I've learned and how much of you guys I've been able to connect with and how much I've been able to share with you all. So thank you so much for listening. And while I am saying thank you for listening, please leave a review wherever you are listening, whatever platform that is, whether it's Apple Podcast, Spotify, YouTube. Please leave a review. Would love to connect with you guys on there. So today we're going to be talking about intention. As per Google, intention means a thing that's intended, an aim, or a plan. When I think of the word intention, I think of kind of like a light guiding the way through maybe like a dark tunnel. I think it's similar to like a goal where you focus on a target, you focus on where it is that you're trying to go, and you shoot for it. Now, intention is a word that I've heard, fairly often more recently. It seems to be a trend. Seems to be, trendy to say, I'm setting my intentions, or I'm setting my intentions for the day, or I'm writing in my journal the different intentions that I have. And, transparently, I really like this concept, and I did a little bit of research for you guys to kind of look into it and see what it means when it is to set an intention. And very specifically, setting your intentions for the year or even for a day. And it seems like this is kind of like an outline of putting yourself on track, of making sure that your intention is clear when you're going into a store. Your intention is to purchase, whatever is on your list and only what's on your list. With the year being still brand new, I want to remind you that time flies. The next thing you know, we're going to be in a new year. And while I don't like to rush time and speak necessarily in that way, it is something that we don't get back when it comes to time. Time moves at its own speed. It responds to no one. No one can hold it back. No one can bottle it up. And so I like to remind everyone that time flies, but you're the pilot. Your intentions are what sets those coordinates for the location that your plane is flying to. Maybe you want to think about setting intentions with your time. And what that means is, okay, I know that I have 3 hours before this appointment that I need to be at. And I want to go see my mom. And I want this time to be intentional. I don't want to, go see her and be thinking about something else, So you want to make sure that when you go to this intention that you've set, that you're not distracted with other things. I'm a very big offender of, let's say, linking one habit to another. So while I'm cooking, I'll be listening to a podcast, I'll be listening to some type of audio, or I'll play a show in the background. Or honestly, I like to make my phone calls when I'm cooking. I do a lot of FaceTime calls when I'm cooking because that seems to be a good time to catch up with people when I'm cooking dinner or sometimes lunch on the weekends. And it's a good time where everyone answers the phone, and it's good to say, hey, what are you making today? And also catching up quickly on the phone. But you don't want to get into the habit that, you're saying, okay, I'm going to go visit this person. And then you're saying, while I'm there, I'm going to just send this quick email out, or I'm going to not do what you intended to do, which was to go spend time with the person that you're spending time with. You want to put yourself in a place where maybe you're setting the intention of, you know what, after 8 p.m., when I close my laptop for work, that's it. Unless it's an emergency or something that I cannot delegate or that cannot wait till tomorrow, which 99% of the time it can wait. And it does. And the world does not end. You want to set that intention of saying, you know what, this week, I did that last week. I broke that to myself. I need to admit it. This week, I'm not doing that. This week, the phone, that goes on do not disturb. And you want to create these intentions because you want to show commitment to yourself. You know, in the new year, you don't want to drag things from last year. You don't want to do the things that you did last year that did not make you successful, that did not bring you joy, that did not serve you and your purpose and the vision that you have for yourself. You want to create that commitment to yourself. When you say I'm setting an intention, that's another word for commitment. It's another way of saying I need to hold myself accountable. When you set an intention, you want to write it down. You want to say it out loud. And if you're comfortable with doing this, you should also share it with someone close to you, maybe a partner or a best friend or a sister friend, and say, you know what, I want to share this small detail about this intention that I'm setting for the week, this intention that I'm setting for the day, that I don't expect you to hold me accountable, but I want you to hear me say it because that way we both know that I'm committed to this, and also it's a way for me to hold myself accountable, and I trust you with being able to be comfortable in saying that to you. Intentions are those commitments for you to commit to your goals. You know, very so often I hear so many people talk about being uncomfortable with making a vision board. You know, first of all, these pictures, these words, these goals that you put into a visual space, they become real. And sometimes for some people that can be overwhelming. And it's also kind of a reminder of something that maybe they didn't remain committed to themselves. Maybe they set the intention this year of saying, I'm going to read 5 books this year. Let's say coming from having read only 1 the year before. And they don't touch a book for the first half of the year and they think it's over. And so a vision board and these intentions that were set out become overwhelming. And so you want to be sure that you're not shaming yourself when you set an intention and maybe you don't go through with that intention. You want to make sure that you're holding yourself accountable. Yes, you should always hold yourself accountable, however that looks for you. But you also don't want to shame yourself into thinking, well, I should be doing that and I should be working out and I had the intention of XYZ. You know, you don't want to go in a negative realm when it comes to setting intentions. Setting intentions should make you feel good. It should bring you a sense of joy to say, of all the things that I can and can't control in my life, this is this intention that I'm setting so that I can really keep this commitment to myself and put myself in that space. I'm going to outline about 3 steps, you know, on setting your intentions and kind of what's worked for me so far, right? Because I do like to talk to you guys from something I've done or a place of, you know, reality and not just on theory. And so, you know, number 1, you want to write down what you desire. You want to write down what your intent is. This is important because if you don't know what it is that you want to commit to, if you don't know what it is that you want to speak into your life, then you're not going to get it. That's case in point. Like, it's like the saying of, if you fail to prepare, you prepare to fail, or you plan. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Something along those lines. You want to make sure that you write your intention down. If your intention for the year of 2023 is to start a podcast, Even if it takes you until December 31st, you know what? You start that podcast this year. No matter how much research you have to do and how many books you need to read and who you need to talk to and what videos you need to watch to learn how to edit and the best way to do whatever it is you want to do in podcasting, make sure that you write down what your intention is. You want to start out from the gate straightforward. This is what I'm trying to do, and I'm not just saying it, I'm writing it down so that you can start to visualize this intention. Number 2, you want to be very clear with your intention. You don't want to say, oh yeah, this year I want to build my personal development coaching program. And while that might sound kind of clear, it's also really not, because what does build mean? Do you want to build your clients? Do you want to, put yourself in a position where maybe you're teaching others this personal development coaching program? You want to be clear and say, you know what, this year I want to service 50 people through my personal development coaching space. I want those to be 50 paid personal development coaching clients. And I want to do this by this date. You want to be very clear. You want to be very concise. I have a personal goal of reading 25 books by December 31st of 2023. Last year, I overshot my goal, and Audible helped me do that. But this year, I want to read a physical 25 personal development or some type of teaching book this year by December 31st of 2023. You want to be very clear about what my intention is, or your intention. And number 3, you have to declare this to yourself out loud. You have to say it out loud. You have to write it down. And I've spoken about this a little bit on an episode I've done previously, where I talk about being careful what you say and what that does to your subconscious mind. To me, it's important for you to say out loud what your intention is, because it goes into your subconscious mind. So your subconscious mind is always listening. It is always hearing what it is that you're saying, what it is that you're putting into it, which is why it's so important to listen to the lyrics that you listen to in songs, to listen to the different things you hear in video games, different sounds that you're around, because your subconscious mind is listening. And so when you say out loud, you know what, my intention for next week is to make sure that I get in my 5 workouts every day in the morning. That is my intention. And every day you're going to say, you know what, I did say I committed to those 5 workouts in the morning, and that is my intention, and I'm keeping that commitment to myself. You want to be concise, because your subconscious mind is going to deliver to you straight up what you tell it. If you tell your subconscious mind, don't forget the keys, don't forget the keys, don't forget the keys, forget the keys, forget the keys, that's what you're telling your mind. So you want to be very clear and say, I intend to read 25 books this year. That is my goal. I will read 25 books this year. You want to be very clear, because your subconscious mind is going to deliver that. You want to set yourself up where for the year, maybe you want to do a couple of things this year. I want to tell you that you can do everything you put your mind to, but not at the same time. And so you want to set your eyes on a goal that you want to accomplish this year that will stretch you, that will maybe it's aligned in a vision that you have for your life. And maybe it's not. Maybe you are just trying to survive the next 12 months because you are in a hard place at work, in a hard place in your relationship, whatever it is. You want your intentions to back up the vision of the life that you see now. And I say this in a very loving way, but this is not meant to be easy. Because if you're doing something great with your life, then there are chances that you are being tested in every way that you go, whether it's small or big. And I want to say congratulations. Because if you are facing something hard or difficult or something that is stretching you and making you uncomfortable, that means that you're moving. It means that you're alive. It means that you are in this space where you can set intentions to take control of that space. Setting intentions is going to shift limiting self-beliefs. It helps you stay accountable with yourself. It builds that relationship with yourself and saying, you know what, I said I was going to do this, and this is what I'm going to do. It also increases your self-esteem. How great does it feel to look at that person in the mirror and realize that what you said you were going to do, you held your end of the bargain and you went and did it? Sure. If that means that you told yourself you were going to get up tomorrow morning at 4:30 in the morning and it is 2 degrees outside and it's cold and dark, yeah, that's hard. But you said what you were going to do, and therefore you should do what you said because that is your intention. We can't as bosses, as the boss person that you are, we can't continue to say, yes, I'm confident, and then we keep cutting the legs out from under ourselves and not keeping our words. You have to walk yourself out of the mindset that maybe you're not good at certain things and because others are more talented than you are, or maybe they have more time and they don't have kids and they don't do what you do, and Pam, you don't understand. And no. Set yourself up with the intention for 2023 and beyond to feed the voice in your head that says, I can do this. I can do this, and repeat it and repeat it and repeat it. And in setting your intentions, you're going to completely set yourself apart from 99% of the population that is not doing that everyone is just, quote unquote, going with the flow. Now, I'm here to tell you that I am guilty of taking some things way too seriously. And I'm not talking about not welcoming spontaneity into your life or doing something random that maybe wasn't on the schedule but that you suddenly have time for. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about if you have the goal to be at a certain weight or to look a certain way this year, if you get sick for 2 weeks, just jump back on the wagon. Is it hard? Yes. Is it going to test you? Yes. But do you want to be great, or do you want to be in the same position a year from now? And just to be clear, going with the flow and allowing things to be whatever they are is literally just your brain saying, you know what, I'm too scared. I'm too scared to make this commitment out loud, because if I don't follow up with this commitment, I can't face that. I can't look myself in the mirror, or I'll remember that in my mind, and that's going to create self-doubt. So if you're not ready to set an intention, that's okay. But make sure that you know that when you set intentions, when you set out to accomplish something and you say it out loud and you write it down and you share it with someone that you trust, know that that person isn't looking at you in any way, shape, or form. The person looking at you like, how come we didn't do this thing, is you. I want to leave you guys with a line that I recently read in a book. And it says, when you are intentional about something, your focus is in the moment. Who you are, what you do, and why you do it. Set your intentions. Set those goals for that vision, for that woman or that man or that person that you want to be this year. And if you're wondering what sets this year apart from last year, well, you've never lived this year. Why not make it different in whatever different looks like to you? Thank you for listening. Come back again next week for another episode of You the Boss podcast.